All right, guys, my calendar is getting red X's on it really quick, but today is Friday, August 12th, 2022. Today marks 57 days I have left to finish my 55 out there for an upcoming event in October, which I'm going to have to talk about that here in a second. But first things first, the last video I just posted, which was early this morning, I don't have the correct starter bolts for this, so I ordered them this morning from Summit. I am hoping they will come in tomorrow by chance, but I didn't look to see where they were coming out of. If they're in Texas, I will more than likely have them tomorrow. But anyway, I did get ARP stainless steel 12-point bolts, but they are for a starter. They have the knurling on them, so those are coming. For 2 bolts, it cost me, with tax and shipping, cost me $32 for 2 stupid bolts. Can you believe that? But anyway, so I've got the car pushed back out, got the cover, the trash bag basically off the engine. What I'm getting ready to do right now is pour oil down in the oil filter, get it screwed on there. I'm going to set, I'm going to pour all that oil and stuff down the lifter valley. And then I'm going to set the intake manifold on there and use my homemade oil pump primer from an old school electric computer controlled HEI. And I'm going to prime that engine with the gauge hooked up to it. And I'm gonna prime the engine until every one of these rocker tips are oiling, which I'll have to rotate the engine a little bit at a time to get all oil to them. So at that point, I'm gonna hoist it up in the air, get the engine stand stuff off of it. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the transmission to it and bolt it to the engine. And I'm gonna do my torque converter bolts while it's up in the air. That's the way I did the truck. For all the way up until this point, I've been doing them underneath the car, where you're on your back, you know, trying to rotate the engine to put 3 torque converter bolts in. So I ended up doing it on the truck after I bought this crankshaft socket. So now it is very simple to do with that thing. So, well, I am completely frustrated and I am done. It is almost 5 p.m. in the evening and I have been doing this since 10 o'clock this morning. Over and over. Every one of these rockers are oiling except this one. So I immediately thought the lifter's not any good. So I put another new lifter in it. Still didn't get any oil to the rocker. At that point, I took the rocker arm off. I took the push rod out. I put another push rod, another rocker arm, another rocker arm nut, another swivel. So pretty much changed all of that. Still no oil. So what's up with that? So then I took the lifter back out and I ran the drill full speed for probably 20 seconds, 30 seconds, just to let it run oil through there. And then put the lifter back in just by itself, ran the drill for probably 10 seconds, and it immediately started filling up with oil inside of it, right here where the push rod would go. So I know there's oil getting into the lifter. But I don't understand what's going on. It won't get oil up here. There's no blockage here. I can take the push rod out. This is a different push rod and rocker arm. I mean, all the stuff I changed. But I took it back off. When I lift up the push rod, oil runs out of it. Even after I blow it clear and try to prime it with the drill, it won't get oil up here. It will not fill this rocker arm up with oil like these others are. But when I pull the push rod out, oil comes out of the push rod itself. So I know it's getting a little bit, but for whatever reason, it's not pushing up enough. All right, so I pulled the lifter out that I wasn't getting any oil to the rocker. So it has, this little flat washer here has an indent in it, and I've had quite a few lifters apart through the years. I've never noticed them having a raised area on them. But anyway, I went ahead and took apart another lifter out of the engine. This one was oiling, but I took it apart to see, and I think, I'm not 100%, but this might have been upside down in there with that raised thing on it. I don't know though. The push rod's clear. I pulled it out and blew through it, but man, I don't know. It's kind of strange. So now I gotta reassemble these and put them back in the engine and readjust the rockers. How awesome. always having to go backwards, I tell you. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's just kind of strange. I can see my finger through that little hole, so there's no obstruction that I see, but I guess I'll figure it out when I put them back in there, readjust it, and try pumping it up again. Alright guys, it is Saturday, August 13th, 2022. Today marks 56 days I have left to finish this car that keeps kicking my butt. So, I had to quit yesterday out here because I was really frustrated. Alright, so I ran that drill for probably a full minute, maybe, somewhere in there. Every one of these rockers started oiling like crazy, except that one again. And when I pull this push rod out, see the oil running out of it? This is clear. I blew this out at one point. I even changed it at one point. So this is not my issue. But for whatever reason, it won't put oil all the way to the top. What in the hell is going on, man? I even tried priming it yesterday without the rocker on it with just the push rod sitting there, and I never did get any oil to the top of the push rod. I mean, if it's getting oil up here, it would do something, but I tell you, of all the stupidest things that could happen, it's going to happen to me every single time without question. So there, it just shows you, it doesn't matter how many times you have done something, you're always going to encounter, or could encounter, an issue that you haven't seen before. So you still take a lesson from the school of hard. All right, now I gotta tell you, this has not been fun. I've never had one this much trouble. So something that I just tried, I took the lifter out of here. I basically switched this lifter to this lifter, and I know I'm pointing at rocker arms. The lifters are down in there, but the intake's on it. I changed out the lifter on this one and this one. Then this one wouldn't oil instead of this one not oiling. Then it moved on to that one not oiling. So at that point, I grabbed another brand new lifter for small block Chevy. Now keep in mind, as I stated earlier, I changed the lifter yesterday with another new one. So I changed it out. Guess what? It's oiling. Imagine that. So now all the rockers are oiling pretty well, actually. So I know when I start the car, it should pretty much start right up. It'll have oil pressure, and it should run fairly decent because all the lifters are pumped up. If you've never primed an engine and you rebuilt an engine and you put it in your car, they can be a little tough to get the engine started because you'll have to crank on it a while to get oil pressure up here, because if the lifters aren't pumped up, it won't open the valves enough, you know, so just keep that in mind. But okay, so now I'm going to take a little break because most of my day yesterday messing with this, and then probably, I don't know, 2 hours so far into it now, but at least now it's all oiling. Now, I don't know if my drill is going to make it. This dude is hot. Like, I can't even hold on to it, and it's plastic. And this part right here is just hot as hell. So I didn't really care. I was going to keep going until I had oil pressure. I would rather burn up that $15 drill, but it'll live for another day now, I think. Golly, what a mess. What a mess. I'm going to take a break, eat a little lunch, maybe do a happy dance, not on camera.